In this lecture, we're going to be discussing the origins of the political reality of Western civilization. To help you better understand this lecture, I want to begin with a little bit of context in explaining feudalism, the type of government that preceded the developments we're going to talk about. In this period of feudalism, you had the king at the top. He was the supreme ruler, he had all of the authority. The problem was the king didn't have the capability of administering his lands, and so he decided to distribute land to vassals. They owed loyalty to the king, and this mutually beneficial relationship was one in which the vassals promised oaths of loyalty and duty in return for land. But they also had too much land to administer, and so the system continued with lords and vassals all the way down. The problem is, this system of government decentralized power a great deal. The king may have been in charge, but the problem was the vassals could often do whatever they like. If you think of Europe, think of all of those castles. That was a place in which a vassal could hang out in their castle, not an art major, hang out in their castles and do what they'd like. And so the process that we're going to talk about in this lecture is the king, the man at the top, growing frustrated with this system of feudalism and trying to change it. And so how are we going to trace these changes? Well, we're going to look at several examples. We're going to first look at the Dutch Republic, an example of a republic that exists during this time period. And then we will look at, if you will, two countries, England and France, that in many ways represent the poles, if you will. Think of it as being on a line. One pole being that of absolutism, and the other being that of constitutionalism in England. And the remaining two lectures, we will look at Austria, Prussia, and Russia, which you should be able to place along sort of a sliding scale along those lines. But in all of this, what you should see is a common process. The kings, the central authorities of these states, attempting to bring more and more control, centralized power under their authority, and ensure a more efficient government. And so that is where we will begin.